life. Funny four-letter word. We tend to catch ourselves, laid back like I am right now, and asking ourselves, what is life? Today, I ask myself that, and by definition, life is the condition that distinguishes, and this is by definition, life is the condition that distinguishes animals and plants from inorganic matter. These conditions include the capacity for reproduction, growth, and continual change preceding death. Continual change preceding death. It's a crazy ass little ending right there, right? Today I was just thinking about life, for me as an individual, and for us, all of us, I guess you could say, as individuals. In order to make those conditions, in order for those conditions to take place, I should say, it's said it has to include growth. I want to talk about growth first, really. We'll talk about everything else, I guess, later on, because life is, like I said earlier, a funny fucking four-letter word. Excuse my vernacular. But I've been trying to find myself, and I've realized there's something. Even the people who tend to say no life, there's something forgotten about it itself. In order for those conditions to take place, we need to stop. We need to stop going through life and start. You're gonna have to excuse my the way I talk, cause I'm not from America. That's all right though. It's life. But like I was saying, we're gonna have to stop going through life as a society and start growing through it. When I ask a lot of people, it's a common saying too. What you up to? Hey, you just going through it, Hey, you look like you're going through it, Damn, this, damn that, but then it's always going through life, We're just going through life. We're trying to go to get to tomorrow, to get to the next bill, to get to the next check, to get to the next. We never really take time to grow through it. And because we forget to grow through it, we tend to hurt a lot. Because we keep going through. And I know you've heard a lot of people say, I'm tired of saying the same thing over again. I'm tired of repeating myself. We go through that simply because we never grew through or out of it, I should say. We never grew through life when that event that caused that specific turmoil inside us happens. Every single time it happens too. We never grow through it. We just go through it. Hey, we passed. It's the next day. And then you catch yourself going through the same turmoil again, and you just start hating the fact that you feel like that every single time that situation happens, and you don't understand the root is really as simple as you need to grow through it. You need to not let it, figure out. If you cannot not let it bother you, figure out how or why can't you let it, whatever the situation is, just get to the root. And when you get to the root, I promise you, you will start growing through. You start understanding it. And motherfucker, somebody will say something, the same thing they'd say to you yesterday, and today it won't affect you at all. Reason being because you grew through it. But that's just like, I guess, one aspect of life. The point is, let's not forget to grow. And that's the point of life, to grow. Every situation that happens in your life or in our lives, let's not forget to grow through it. And I promise you, like the reason we dread a lot of shit in life is because we're going through it. It's not the point of life. You're not supposed to go through it. You're supposed to grow through it. When an emotion pops up in your being, at that moment you're supposed to, that's a reaction of the an emotion is a reaction of the body, or the mind and the body. How, we'll talk about that a lot deeper later on, but you don't the reason you react to like that is because you haven't settled with it, we should say. You haven't grown through it. But the moment you catch on and say, damn, I think I grew through it. You know what? Like, okay, you think just because you called me, black or this or the N word, it's gonna affect me. Just you did that shit yesterday. At this point, I got two choices. I could slap the hell out of you, or you could just, I could just look at you and see how funny you think you are, growing through it. No, I just gave you an example, two different types of growth right there, quick. Like I said, I'm not trying to get into that specific aspect of life right now. But what I do gotta say is, let's try to remember life, the conditions, the conditions we talked about earlier. The biggest things is growth and continual change preceding death. And just to summarize the last one off real quick, because I didn't talk about it a lot. Continual change preceding death. In order for you to change, means you need to grow. That's why I talked about growth a lot before. I talked about change. In order for you to get to that next step, you need to understand that this step is made of this and that. And in order for me to get to the other step, I need to play to make sure I understand my placement of my foot, where it's set, and in order for me to actually support myself to get to the next one, you need to, in order for you to change, in order for you to get to the next state, the next step, you need to grow. You need to understand the first step you're on right now. And every single morning, don't get me wrong, if it's a new, it's we go through the same shit. Like I said, going through the same shit. That's why it feels like it's the same shit. No, every morning is another chance to understand that step. Every morning is another chance for change, to grow. But that's up to you, or up to who, us, me. It's up to me. You know. I thought I was gonna wait till, I don't know, some magic or some magic event happen or whatever for me to start a podcast like this, but it took a little bit of change in my life. You know, something that I'm not gonna talk about right now. You know, happened in my environment of where I or my life resides. I mean, that environment affected. It didn't affect me personally, I should say, but it changed, and because of that change that happened in my environment, it caused, you know, cause and effect. You know, it caused me to want to start this podcast the way I started it right now. Growth and change. Those are two things that go. That's a two side. They call them the two sides of the same coin. They say, yeah, that's the same. Growth and change. Now remember, life is a continual change preceding death. Now we could change once or twice or three times, and you've already done that when you was a kid. You know, when you was not being or when you was, I should say, being more influenced by your environment. But now you are more in control of your change the older you get. And like I said, we'll talk about that. That's life. This thing is broad. This is the outer view. Welcome, and good night.